Welcome back, everyone, to another jikGeek in the week. It's been a while since we did one of these, and today's episode is a Final Fantasy special. We got so much great content to talk about today. Absolutely buzzing. If you're joining us in the chat, always great to have you with us. Can't wait to discuss this. Some absolute banger updates for us to go through. That's just confirming the sound's working great. Nice, coming in loud and clear. Right, we've got quite a bit to go through. So hopefully you stick around for, all of the articles we've got. We've got the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth second trailer to go through. From what I've heard, it looks absolutely insane. We've got some seriously cool leaked rumours about a Final Fantasy X remake, which, if you're a fan of the channel, you know that that's the top game. For me, that's my number one, and can't wait to get stuck into that. We've got some Final Fantasy X3 news to go through, a couple of articles to go through on that, and we've also got the Final Fantasy 16 pre-launch going ahead today. Now, it's 7 o'clock-ish in the UK here, so this probably won't go live till about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I think this is going live 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which, I think is about 7 or 8 hours behind. So it'll be early doors. I won't be staying up for that. I've got work tomorrow, so we'll have to catch up with that in the morning. But all of the build up, all of the pre-launch content, we're going to go through the schedule, and we're just going to see what that's all about today. So it's been a while since we did a jikGeek in the week, so buzzing to get into some content. Right. I think it's probably worth mentioning as well, if you're a fan of the Final Fantasy X No Sphere Grid playthrough, things are kind of on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, only because I'm looking to upgrade the PC I've got with some new RAM, a new graphics card, some other enhancements as well, just to build up the quality as well. I did a questionnaire or a community post not so long ago, and the feedback, great feedback as always with the community posts. It was pretty much centered around you'd rather see quality streams over what we're delivering so far on the live streams. So that's what I'm looking to do. And of course, we've got the channel anniversary coming up on the 22nd. So just under 2 weeks for that. So lots of new content planned for that. Lots of great content. Probably between then and when we went live with our first review. And I think that was all the way back in August. So it'll be like a 7 or 8 week period where we get some banger content. Lots of cool ideas I've got. I've reached out to the community. Reached out to some of the subscribers that I know personally, and got some good feedback. So thanks for the suggestions on that, and thanks for all the input, all the likes, all the love. The channel's grown amazing. I mean, 60 subs, I can't believe it. I didn't think I'd be at this point. Right, let's just make sure we got the chat up. Anyway, if we can't, there it is. Right. Joining on the phone as well, so following there. I do need to get that second screen, but that's going to form part of the whole kind of PC upgrade as well. So right, I think with that said, let's get onto the articles and the content. I think what we'll do is we're going to start off with in fact, I think we'll start off with the Final Fantasy VII trailer. Let's just see what that's about. Because in all fairness, I thought the first trailer was an absolute banger. And having actually, to be quite fair, only having watched playthroughs of Final Fantasy VII Remake, just not having the time to do the playthrough, this looks seriously good. So I'll be considering buying this on Steam if it does come out in the future. I do know that this is going to be a PS5 exclusive. So let's see, right, let's see if we can get this fit in the screen. Yeah, if you join us in the chat, it's good to have you with us. Just going through a bunch of Final Fantasy content today. Lots to go through, loads of content to go through today. So just got to make sure that that's looking good. Right. All the joys of live streaming. Just got to make sure that's looking good for you. Okay. Right, there we are. Okay. Let's make sure the sound's working.
Scene of this.
Yes. Right, very good. Right, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer 2023. Reaction, let's go.
We're still here at the scene of this terrible disaster, caused by a massive tornado which swept through sectors 0, 1, and 2. Amidst the wreckage of the expressway, search and rescue operations are already in progress.
Them graphics look too good.
Wow. Just look at it all. It's so green. Even after everything we've done to it, it's still going strong.
It may look that way, but in reality, it's barely hanging on.
Red looks so good. Look at them graphics. My
I
God.
was wondering, what's Cloud been doing these past 5 years? Where's he been?
Now
And you're asking me this?
I really
This
hope.
is gonna sound crazy, but
I really hope that they continue with the love triangle, because that was one of my favourite parts. And of course, we've got, you know, spoilers for all of this, but of course, we've got the massive bomb drop that is likely to be Aerith's death. So, considering how they changed the end of the first game, the remake, I don't know how that's going to go, you know, because they could change it up. They could do a real pull under the rug and subvert our expectations and not kill her off. Or they could bring her back. I've seen a few rumours knocking about here and there where there's ideas that they do kill her off as kind of like a shock, like red wedding moment, and then bring her back as part of kind of the changes to the Rebirth story. So that would be cool, but I think as an OG FF7 fan, it was a massive shock in the game, and it was one of the better parts of the game. And I think without that, I guess it doesn't, for me, it was almost a catalyst for Cloud to go forth. It was the fire inside him that got him to carry on and destroy Sephiroth at the end and kind of end all of this misery and help save the world. But I think without that, without Aerith's death, I don't think that happens. Well, maybe they change it. I don't know. I'd really like them to keep it in. I've got a sneaking suspicion, though, that they're going to change it. Right, let's continue.
as far as I know, Cloud was never in Nibelheim 5 years ago.
The life stream. It is the very essence of our star. The blood coursing through its planetary veins.
According to Hojo, they're connected to Sephiroth. Shadows of the Man, I believe he called them.
Now that's what we want as well, more Sephiroth. The fact that we had the fight at the end of the first game was a good inclusion, but I would say I didn't like the fact that they've switched things around. I didn't like the fact that they changed it from the original ending, and it really left a sour taste in my mouth. But what I would say is that fight, and I mean, Sephiroth looks amazing in this game. In fact, every character looks amazing in this game, but it did leave a kind of a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm hoping we get absolutely shed loads more Sephiroth, and we just get loads of opportunity to go toe to toe with him. Or I can't wait for that part where I think we potentially get to play with him and Cloud as well in the flashback part. Looking forward to that as well. Come on.
Sephiroth was in Midgard. We fought him. Whatever happened, he's alive.
But why come back now? After 5 years, doing who knows what?
Right, let's just pause that and maximize it again. There we go.
Well now, think we woke it up.
Angered it, more like.
Graphics look too good. Oh, when you get to play as Red 13, yes!
Feast your eyes on the Turk's latest and greatest, Elena.
She may be new, but she's still a Turk.
Oh, go boss, that's what she is. Gameplay graphics looks too good. Oh, Red 13 with the special moves. Oh, they've integrated Yuffie as well into the main story. That's good.
What the? Keep it away from me!
They say she's a monster.
There he is.
That she can peer inside you.
Yes.
Into the very depths of your soul. That
Do we
she
get an
can
idea what
become
that
those
pass
you
is?
hate, those you fear, those you love.
You murdered my dad! You burned my village!
You know that I killed her.
Oh.
So, who is she?
Oh, shizzle. I mean, it looks good. I got to admit, it looks really good. It looks on 2 discs. On 2 discs. Are you having me at it? That means it is going to be an absolutely ginormous game. And that's what it needs. That's exactly what it needs. That's exactly what it needs. The fact of the matter is, when you get out of sorry, just getting the chat back up. When you make yourself out of Midgar, yeah, when you make your way out of Midgar, the game opens up. It's massive. So to have it over 1 disc for such a big expansion doesn't seem... No, it doesn't seem the right way to go. Having it over 2 discs means we're going to have massive amount of story, and we're going to have the opportunity to go roaming around the world. So maybe we get one of the vehicles, because what I potentially that might be is at the end of disc 1 we get the Aerith death, and at the end of disc 2 there might be a similar kind of, well, I think there's probably 3 possibilities. Aerith comes back, we get the whole fight scene with Sephiroth as a part 2, or we get something new. I mean, it could be all 3. It could be one of those. I mean, all 3 are possibilities, but I think the fact that we've got it over 2 discs is a really, really good thing. Really, really good thing. So, man, that gameplay looks seriously good, though. There's a couple of shots.
Everything we've done to it, it's still going strong.
It may look that way,
I mean, not even the characters look perfect for me. Great adaptations. The other thing that I love, though, is all of the scenery, the environments. It looks just perfect. But that's FF7 Rebirth, and for those that know me, that know jikGeek, for those that, you know, follow the channel, they know what it's all about on this channel. They know what the number one is, and that's FF10. Now, we had some news drop a couple of days ago. Now, we've gone to Game Rant, which I think we've been to before for the next couple of articles, and to be quite fair, it's summing things up very nicely. So, a leaker claims that a Final Fantasy X remake is on the way. Oh my god, this is fucking sick-ass news. This is quality news. Now, I haven't read this. I haven't watched any videos to do with the remake news and the leaks. Top 3 predictions. Unreal 5 engine. This has got to be, I reckon, yeah, Unreal 5 engine. This is going to be over 2 discs. This is going to be over 1 disc. What's up in the chat as well? How's it going? How's it going? Final Fantasy VII leak release date, Jan 24. Feeling that. Thanks for the info, man. Thank you for the info. Yeah, looking forward to that. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, the leak release date. Okay. Nice. Nice. Not far to go then. Well, I say that. We're only in June, so we got 6 months to go. But yeah, looking forward to that. Buzzing. I wonder when we'll get some more confirmation about this, though, because yeah, we had 2 things recently. In fact, we've had 3 things, and we'll get onto Final Fantasy X-3 information in a minute. We also had, I don't know if you've all seen it, and after the live stream goes live, after the live stream goes out, I'll try and drop in the description. There was a call, I think it was for the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy X. Someone did kind of like a trailer on Unreal 5 engine, and it looked absolutely incredible. It looked perfect. Every single location, character, Aeon, just even the airship looked amazing. So I'll drop that in the description. Or if anyone's in the chat, that knows about that video, that wants to put it in there, please drop it in for everyone, because it looked unreal. If not, I'll drop it in the description. So we got some great chat tonight. What's up, everyone? How's it going? Thanks for joining jikGeek in the week. Where did you get the leak from? What I saw was Scammel. Apologies if I butchered your name there. Where did I get the leak from? Well, the leak, it's not a leak. It's just the news that the Final Fantasy Remake, 10 Remake, has been leaked by a reputable leaker, apparently. What I did see was Primal Liquid, regular content creator on YouTube. He dropped a video saying that FF10 fans were going wild. So I punched into Google FFX news, and it come up with some leak was on the way, or some leak had been put on the internet. So I thought we'd jump on. So, demo FF16. What we'll see, Julian, is we're going through the FF16 in a bit. We're going through the schedule for the pre-release celebration event that's going live tonight, but it's going live tonight in America at like 4 in the morning UK time. So it's like going live, I think 7 PST time. So if you're in America, if you're over on that side, if you're awake, maybe check it out, see what it's about. We'll try and do a reaction to that in the week, though. I'm hoping we can maybe get some time tomorrow to get a pre-release review, because you never know what else we're going to get. We might get other stuff like maybe in French. I don't know. Maybe they might be doing it with subtitles. Unsure. What I do know, though, is the pre-launch celebration is announced for today. So let's just jump to this since you're interested. Scammel, we're going through both. So I've got an article on FF3 rumours, but I've also got an article on the FFX remake leaks. So we're going to go through both of those. But just to round off for Julian, this is the pre-launch celebration. So it's been dropped by the Final Fantasy 16 Twitter account, and we'll be going through that in a bit shortly. I do want to stick with, though, Final Fantasy X remake news, because massive fan of the game. If you're following the channel, you know all about how much love we've got for FFX on jikGeek. If you're not, maybe consider checking out the NSG, the No Sphere playthrough we've been doing over the last couple of months. Scammel, absolutely agree, pal. FFX on PS2 was an absolute banger. It was a worldie and it was a perfect game. Didn't really fancy playing FFX2, and I think I only put in about 3 or 4 hours into that before coming, before letting that one go. So I thought that was a perfect way to end the game, FFX. They didn't really need to do an FFX2, and FFX3, considering all of the additional material we've had. What time in France? Well, right, let's see. So, PST time to UK. So, you're going to be 1 hour in front of me, Julian. British Standard Time. So, yeah, it's 7:30 now. It's 11:30 Pacific Time. So, 7 p.m. PST is going to be 3 o'clock. Likely then it's going to be 4 o'clock in France. 7 p.m. PS time. Right. Because if you're from France, then that'll be 4 a.m. in the morning. So maybe tune in for then. So, let's crack on with this. According to a reputable Final Fantasy leaker, Square Enix is preparing to release a Final Fantasy X remake at some point in 2026. While Square Enix has stuck to primarily remastering its popular games, it's also experimented with full-blown remakes, finding a great deal of success with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake released to widespread critical acclaim and strong sales, so it only makes sense that Square Enix would pursue more remakes of its most popular games. Rumours have persisted for quite some time that the Square Enix is developing a Final Fantasy IX remake, and it seems the game franchise can look forward to after is a remake of Final Fantasy X, although it's always best to take rumours with a grain of salt. Well, it is, but apparently this is a really, really strong leaker that has done some real cool stuff before. Yeah, so apparently the leakers are, it's a good one. They've leaked some stuff before. They did a lot of the GeForce Now leaks. They did a lot of the Final Fantasy anniversary announcement leaks that we did a video on the channel sometime this year. So if they're leaking that more again, chances are the only thing that hasn't come true from those leaks from before was a Final Fantasy IX remake and I think a Tactics remaster or a 9 remaster. So, but that's probably in the works. I've got a feeling that's in the works. Oh, Final Fantasy X character designer shares new title art. We'll have a look at that as well. We may as well. So, according to I'm a Hero 2, a user who accurately leaked Final Fantasy news but has since deleted their account, the Final Fantasy remake after FF9 is FF10. Apparently, the game will be out for FF10's next big anniversary, which will be in 2026. It's entirely unclear at this point the extent of the remake or what else will it entail. If this leak is accurate, fans won't get any concrete information for years. They say this, but they're going to be dropping hints and rumours and things now and again because it's to keep the interest up. It's to keep us fans hooked onto the idea that we're getting an FFX remake. I mean, I'll be following this every step of the way. Now I know it's in the and now I know it's in development. I mean, Aura looks badass there, and just like we've had in the chat, just like the chat I've mentioned, PS2 FFX was good enough. It looks fantastic in 4K. You crack those. You get a great graphics card and you crack up those settings. The graphics look unbelievable, especially in the FMVs as well. Really hot in the UK today. Right, let's get Oren back on the screen because he's a badass. Right, Final Fantasy X was the first mainstream series to hit the PlayStation 2. It had cutting-edge graphics for the time. Graphics were unbelievable for the time. An engaging cast of memorable characters and a fun battle system that both stuck with Final Fantasy's turn-based roots while employing some new ideas at the time. In my eyes, the greatest battle system to ever be put onto a video game ever. Now, the closest thing we've had since that is probably the FF7 Remake battle system, where it is a combination between that fast-paced action RPG stuff plus the ability to kind of go turn-based with the whole time slow-mo thing, which I thought was a great mix. And I'm hoping they adopt that for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, the Rebirth. I'm also hoping that they adopt it going forward. Now, it's clear that we won't be getting that for Final Fantasy 16. That is dedicated to Devil May Cry, action RPG, new school gamers, which is fine, absolutely fine. But one of the core things that made Final Fantasy X so good, so perfect in my eyes, was the battle system. They need to keep some sort of mix between action RPG to keep those new fans coming in and the ability to do some sort of turn-based combat. Right, as far as the leakers' credibility goes, they have accurately leaked Final Fantasy news and JRPG news in general. They leaked the existence of Persona 3 Remake and its planned announcement at the Xbox Showcase in June 11th. And they also leaked Final Fantasy VII Rebirth release date delay to 2024. There's still a chance that their information is inaccurate, although especially since this supposed FF10 remake is still at least 3 years from launch. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, this could be BS, but at the end of the day, they're kind of going through. They may as well remake it because, one, they've got better ways to do these games now. They've got the Unreal 5 engine. 2, it's been like 25 years, so why wouldn't you capitalise on the anniversary? 3, I mean, it's just in the nature of Square Enix. If they can't do it as good with the newer titles, FF15 failed, FF13 wasn't that good, FF16 looks to be okay as a game. Why wouldn't they capitalise that and revisit their better brand titles? 3 years may seem like long to wait for a game, but there should be no shortage of Final Fantasy games for fans to check out in the meantime. FF16 releases later this month, whilst Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is set to launch early 24. Rumour has it that the Final Fantasy IX remake is coming out in 2025, and chances are good that there will be even more Final Fantasy projects released in the same window. I have no doubt there will be, just to keep that hype up, because the minute they drop a game or they drop news, everyone jumps on the bandwagon again. Everyone wants to know the rumours. Everyone wants to know the leaks, when stuff's coming out. They want to know trailers, gameplay. They want to know every single speck of news that they can get their hands on. So, but how I wanted to link this to new FF10 3 rumours is another article from Game Rant, which talks about the FF10 remake could spark Square Enix's reignitement and the chance to finish what it started with their potential trilogy of games. I think if they're going to do FFX 3, they will wait to remake 10, they will wait to remake FFX 2, and they will then do an FFX 3. I think that's what they've been waiting for. Right, let's have a look. Where are we? Okay. So while Square Enix is hard at work on Final Fantasy Remake Trilogy, whoops, these bloody links. While Square Enix is hard at work on the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy alongside Final Fantasy XVI, recent rumours indicate the company could be eyeing two other titles in the franchise. Though the account has since been deleted, a trusted user, I'm a Hero 2, so it's the same leaker as we've just read about, has previously leaked possible plans for FF9 and FF10. Reportedly, if the latter happens to be true, it wouldn't be until roughly 2026. Giving proper remakes to some of its classics, most beloved titles in the franchise, is a surefire win, as we've just talked about. If the new titles aren't working, probably the second best thing to do is to go back and do a complete remake of the titles that succeeded and exploded the franchise. I mean, 6 was underrated, really good game. 7, 8, 9, and 10 were those that put Final Fantasy on the map. Not only has the popularity of the 7 remake and rebirth so far been proof of that, but the sheer quality that its latest Final Fantasy game has taken is 2. A Final Fantasy X remake could be a little different though. If Square Enix is going to remake the first title, it might as well remake the second, as we've just been talking about. And if it's going to remake the second title, it might as well pull the trigger on FFX 3, which has effectively been on hold. Now, I do believe that this is the reason. It will be on hold because they're looking to remake it. Just makes sense. Right, let's sort this out first. That's getting on my nerves. Right, that's better. So, it'd be odd to remake the first game and not the second, so it'd be a wise move for Square Enix to give the two titles similar remakes, perhaps even making them more cohesive in the process. Just like Final Fantasy VII Remake project is a trilogy, Final Fantasy X's could be two, but ending with a new game, Final Fantasy X3. It's not a far-fetched idea. I somewhat agree. I think whilst it didn't even need an X2, if they're going to do it, doing 2 extra games is definitely the way I see Square Enix taking this, because it'll be 2 extra money spinners for them. Back in the summer of 2021, Square Enix character designer Tetsuya Nomura and designer-writer Motomo Toriyama discussed the possibility of Final Fantasy X3's release. In fact, according to the dev, the chances of it not happening are not zero. Randomly getting a threequel to a sub-franchise that began in 2001 wouldn't make a lot of sense, although ending a remake trilogy with a new game does. This is especially true given the fact that FFX 10-3's plot exists to some degree, with Nomura explaining that Square Enix has a synopsis written by Nojima-san. It's sleeping right now, but the plot itself does exist. Well, I just hope the plot is better than the crap that we've got since FFX2, because even that game just wasn't good enough. It was paled in comparison to the sheer amazement that was FFX. So, if you hear any strange noise in the background, folks, that's just the lightning and the thunder. Got some storms in the UK today. Anyway, at the time, Toriyama also added that they were not in a position to really talk about the off chance of FFX 3 happening, roughly until they have finished producing FF7 Remake. In other words, the idea could already be there. Releasing a Final Fantasy X Remake in 2026 would be a crude enough timetable to follow up after with a remake of Final Fantasy X-2, and then finally bringing the whole story to a proper close with X-3, finishing a story that has long since been in the works. A Final Fantasy X remake has not been confirmed by Square Enix. It hasn't, but the possibility of this is, for me, just exciting enough. Now, in all honesty, what they probably should do is make FFX 10 a 3-part game if they're going to do a trilogy, because in my eyes it was perfect after the ending. It didn't need to have FFX2. It doesn't need FFX3. It didn't need FFX2. It doesn't need FFX3. And to be quite fair, the game was perfect on its own. So maybe what they could do is all the way up to Operation Mi'ihen, for instance, and then they could go from there all the way, or maybe, what could we say? Maybe up to Seymour Natus. And then we go from Seymour Natus up to Lady Unalesca, and we flesh that out a bit more. And then we go from Unalesca to Sin. Because bear in mind, after Unalesca, you've then got the ability to go in the airship. So going from after Unalesca to Sin isn't really that far in the game. Who knows? I mean, this is exciting news, folks, and I am absolutely buzzing for it. Any further news, we'll be keeping up to date on jikGeek. So tune in for that. Subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date with any FFX remake news going forward. Right, what else have we got to talk about? So, let's get on to the pre-launch celebration schedule announced for tonight regarding FFX16. Now look, I did a poll on the channel the other day. How hyped are you for this game? If you didn't join the chance on the community post, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'd love to know. What it feels like though is the audience are very, very decisive on this. They're either loving it or they're not interested. Now, I must admit, because I'm such a big Final Fantasy X fan, and fanboy for that matter, my preference really goes towards the not so bothered. But that's only because of what I've seen in terms of the action. The style of gameplay is very action RPG, and I expected them to come off the back of the success of Final Fantasy VII Remake and do that mix between action RPG and turn-based RPG. Why wouldn't you replicate what worked before? Why wouldn't you replicate the successes of FFX? FF10 was the pinnacle. It is basically it's peak Final Fantasy right now. The only thing that surpasses that or comes close is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And that included both action RPG and this somewhat ability to do that turn-based sort of action as well. That turn-based role-playing game sort of feature. So I'm unsure why they've gone strictly for action RPG here. I could be wrong though. What I'm trying to look and see is if I can get my hands on a copy of the demo and play that somehow. So if I can, I'll be either uploading regular content about the demo, or we'll do some sort of live stream if I can. But anyway, let's get on to the schedule, because I'm really interested about what they've got planned for this. So 11 days before we set forth on the journey in Valastera, Square Enix is inviting all fans to tune into the Final Fantasy XVI pre-launch celebration live stream, June 11th, starting 4 PM PT, 7 PM ET. Right. Okay. So that's going to be what? 2, 3 in the morning, something like that. To take part in the festivities, tune into the Square Enix Twitch channel, YouTube channel. Yoshi P gives a special keynote for the event's opening act. The celebration will run for approximately 4 hours and 45 minutes. The event schedule is as follows. Right, we've got that up on the Twitter. I don't think we need that on the Twitter now. Presenting the Final Fantasy XVI pre-launch celebration schedule. Oh, we've jumped to the Twitter anyway. Let's have a look. Whether you're joining us in person or watching online, we're hoping you're looking forward to it. So, what have we got? 4 PM PDT, producer's keynote with Yaoki Yoshida. Icon Power Showcase. Well, that's good. So they'll hopefully be showcasing all of the icons. That's good. So let's just drop that info in the chat, to be fair. And we'll pin that to the top. Right, so the keynote, so the opening intro is going to be for about 15 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. Then we've got over an hour and a half of the icons. The question here is, do they keep things under wraps with some of the secret ones, or do they just go big bang and show them all? That's going to be one of the key questions there. Another hour on the narrative. So that's going to be with a bunch of people involved with the game. Then they've got the music. I mean, Final Fantasy is synonymous with its fantastic music, soundtracks, OSTs. I listen to the FFX soundtrack right now. As in, you know, even in the past 20 years, it's probably been the thing that I've listened to the most ever. And then they've got the closing messages from the whole team. So it looks like you'll be able to watch it on YouTube and Twitch on the Square Enix. So let's drop that in the chat as well. Square Enix, YouTube and Twitch channels. Nice. Okay. Right, let's see what else this article's got to say. Previously, Final Fantasy fans got a glimpse of what to expect in the game through the Salvation trailer that aired at the May 23 PS Showcase. Here at RPG Fan, we got to preview the first 5 hours of the game and eagerly encourages everyone to give it a chance, even if the action combat system isn't right up your street. Well, that's the thing here. You're somewhat alienating the real OG Final Fantasy fans, yet you're really putting all your eggs in the basket of the new Final Fantasy fan, the new players, the newer generation. We will certainly be covering the game leading up to the release, so please look forward to it. Final Fantasy 16 launches globally on June 22nd. Well, that's the same time as... Is that the same time as Secret Invasion? Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, I expected... Yeah. Let's see if we can get the Salvation trailer up, because I don't think I've watched that one yet. Right, let's see if we can get that up. FF16 Salvation trailer.
The blind march is on. These people live with a knife to their throats.
You have to believe us! We'd help you if we could!
But you're helping us already.
Looks very FF13.
We never asked to be saved.
It's got that vibe.
Did you think we'd thank you? They'll never forgive us. We're all marked now.
And very Game of Thrones.
Every time you show your faces, it is we who suffer!
Good unit. Is that an adamantoid?
You better hope so.
Crystals take more than they give.
You mean to tell me that the mother crystals are the reason the world is dying?
Looks very Devil May Cry as well.
Talking. If they won't give us a say, we'll decide our fates another way. Are you with me? You will pay for what you've done!
Why aren't you dead? You wasn't branded.
Tell me true. Do you believe what I'm about to do is wrong?
Oh, that was good.
I was forced to kill. You do it by choice.
They don't believe in me. They believe in the powers that dominant.
You can't blame a man for wanting to bring an end to all this, can you?
Ever led astray by your blind resolve.
It's very Devil May Cry.
We don't need your salvation. We'll save ourselves, and we'll do it on our own terms.
Come to me, Ifrit!
Oh, Ifrit. No, you didn't say that.
Who are we?
Oh dear.
What are the dominants? We are but mighty acts of God.
They look good though, the
Enough of
Aeons.
this. I use my talents to my advantage, and you would tell me there is shame
Oh,
in that?
Aeon versus Aeon.
We shared a dream. I would be the king of the world.
Wow,
Darkness has
Titan
taken
looks sick
hold.
then.
It has made you forget yourself.
I don't want to be a monster. Clive.
I have to stop him! I have to save them!
I made a promise to my friends,
Different
and
looks
it is
good.
they who will give me the strength to end your reign.
Your efforts will avail us naught.
Oh, is that Odin?
We fight.
He looks sick.
We survive. We endure. We don't need a reason. Fight! Fight! Fight!
I mean, look, it looks amazing. The graphics look good. What I would say is the Final Fantasy VII graphics look better. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII graphics look better. The action looks cool. If you're an action RPG fan, this is the one for you. This is going to be like the ultimate game for you. So the visuals look good. The gameplay looks exciting if you're a fan, and what I would say is it's very story driven. This is going to be very story driven FF16. So hopefully we get a story as good as FFX, because to be fair, that wasn't the easiest story to follow. Even I took a few playthroughs to get my head around. It wasn't about time travel, etc. So FF16, really hoping they nailed the story. Got to admit, it sounds pretty complicated, and it sounds, well, I don't actually know what it's about still. I get it's about crystals. I get it's about these icons. I get it's about Clive trying to gather all the crystals up, or gather all the icons up. Now, apart from that, it feels like a one-man band, and that's never been what Final Fantasy has been about. It's always been about teaming up, teamwork, togetherness, fighting as a team, working together to defeat a common enemy. You know, you can go as far back as Final Fantasy I to the roots. You had 4 members of the party all going towards one goal. Now, I think the only game that has stuck out as being any different is Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns. So, at the end of the day, that kind of shifts away from the typical Final Fantasy trope as well. And it's not a good trope to get away from. So, really hoping the story does well. The visuals look amazing. They look ace. Really hoping the whole icon versus icon thing comes through as well. Not really feeling that. That feels like I'm constantly going to be in a battle versus Isaru. You know what I mean? It's like Aeon versus Aeon all the time. Whereas the ability to have them fighting alongside you like they did in Final Fantasy VII Remake, or having them as part of the party in FFX now and again, though, it feels like we're being really, it feels like it's going to be kind of like Mortal Kombat style, Tekken style, icon versus icon to decide the fate of a battle. So we'll see what happens there. But the fact that it's a single character, not really enjoying that. The fact that it's the story seems quite complex as well. That's kind of putting me off. And of course, the action RPG. What I'm hoping for is we get action RPG, but again, there's that little part that we able to kind of turn on some kind of turn-based elements like we had in FFX and FF7 Remake. I don't know, let me know what you think though, because I'm torn with FF16. Yeah, it's a PS5 remake as well, so I mean, I don't have a PS5, At the moment, I don't, anyway. And my prerogative is kind of retro RPGs. Now, whether we're calling Final Fantasy VII Remake a retro RPG, I could probably get away with that and play it on Steam as well. Because this is a PS5 remake, I'll probably end up having to miss the boat here. But any news, any gameplay footage we can go through on the channel. We'll probably do a special when it launches as well. So tune in, stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel for that as well. Yeah, to be fair, I think that's all we had today. And we're an hour deep. If there's anyone joining in the chat and you want me to go through something specific, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on the FFX remake leaks. Let me know what your thoughts are on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the new trailer. We've got the pre-launch for FF16 going live tonight. That information's in the chat. The pin message will give you the times. Now, I think if you just use Google and put, like a PST or an Eastern Standard Time into Google, you can do some sort of like translator to see what that is in your home country. Yeah, we've had possibilities of an FFX3 extension, rumour, etc., because we're getting this potential FFX remake. I really hope, though, that the Final Fantasy X remake is a remake in terms of the graphics and a remake in terms of the action, not a remake in terms of the story, the characters, the events, the ending. All of these key moments need to stay the same. All of these key moments need to be untouched, because if they fuck about like they've done with FF7 and they start introducing different elements from maybe FFX2 or the new novella that they've brought out and bring some of that forward, it's going to ruin it. I'm not saying it's going to ruin the legacy, because FFX for me is timeless. You could play that in silo, and it just be an end-to-end, non-stop amazing game. But I just really hope that they do it justice, and I really hope that we get it in Unreal 5 engine. I really hope that we get a story that is untouched, but just is fleshed out that little bit more perfectly. They could do so much more maybe with like the Calmlands, for instance. They could do so much more with Zanarkand. They could do so much more with Blitzball. My God, they could do so much more with a lot of the game. But for me, it's going to be about the graphics. It's going to be about nailing the character designs. It's going to be about nailing the FMVs. It's going to be about nailing the graphics, the story. That needs to be untouched, though. And it needs to be about nailing the gameplay, because for me, the fact that the gameplay, it's synonymous with the game itself. It's, it's one of the features that draws us as fans back to FFX every time. Anyway, let me know what you think in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the comments today. We've had some great people in the chat. Thanks for all the love and support. Tune in the week. We've got some more top quality content coming from jikGeek in the week. Like I said, we've got the PC upgrades as well, hopefully going ahead this week, just in time for the channel anniversary on the 22nd. So hoping we can get those in place by then. And then we're motoring then in terms of the graphics and enhanced capabilities we can do on the channel. Thanks for the love and support. Thanks for joining today. Good to see you all. Take care.